Hey everyone, and welcome to day 2 of my horror movie review marathon, and I've got your Goosebumps 2 Haunted Halloween movie review. When a couple of kids finds a book written by R.L. Stine, all hell breaks loose in the form of monsters. So as far as the story goes, Ari Sandel directs this Goosebumps sequel that I had, sort of mixed feelings about from the get-go. When I saw the trailer last year, I wasn't as impressed with what I saw. I did enjoy the first Goosebumps movie, for what it's worth, but I was starting to feel a little bit uneasy about what this sequel had to offer. Now, while this one family that is featured in this movie that is at the forefront, they sort of come off like they're disconnected from one another. It's a single mom, apparently, with a couple of kids, and they're living in this one town. It's interesting how when these two guys stumble upon this box that contains this book written by R.L. Stine, and it also leads them to Slappy the ventriloquist dummy, who is infamous to the Goosebumps franchise and returning once again in this movie. And he wants to create a family of his own. So while it seemed like this movie had a message about, family values, but really it's not literally what it seems. It makes me not entirely feel sympathetic for the main characters and what they go through, because they literally brought all of this upon themselves when all this scary stuff starts to happen. And with this movie, I also felt like the script and dialogue in general were just poorly written and executed. I have read the Goosebumps books that I feel like were better than this movie. The story itself isn't rushed, but still feels like a mess. And I feel like it can only be cleaned up by the end of the movie. Considering if you've seen the first movie, you know what happens with here, which is pretty much the same thing, and possibly opens up for a third movie. Now, as far as the casting goes, I feel like I've seen a couple of these actors before. Jeremy Ray Taylor, who was last seen in the It movies. Madison Iseman, who was seen in Jumanji, the new Jumanji movies. And they play siblings, whereas their mom is being played by Wendy McLendon-Covey, who I feel like doesn't really do that good of a job here and just not funny at all. And then they have this other friend. They all are sort of banding together, like they're all supposed to get along, and it comes off just really awkward at times. And I would even think that Ken Jeong, who is just a comedic actor all around, being in this movie, I think he was definitely one of the highlights of the movie, so I really like that. And to also see the return of Jack Black playing R.L. Stine, he just felt kind of awkward and out of place. Especially towards the end of the movie. The things that I liked about this movie, which isn't saying a lot, but it was surprisingly fun at times, so I was entertained with some of the things that I saw, even though, half the time I wanted to roll my eyes because it just felt like ridiculousness and only a movie that a family with kids can enjoy, but maybe not somebody like me who's just watching it for the nostalgia factor, which is what I got from the first Goosebumps movie. So, unfortunately, the things that I didn't really like about this movie was that the CGI wasn't exactly terrible, but it was excessively used in this movie, especially when the animation started to take me out of the movie because it just looked so bad on screen. I felt like even the jokes fell flat with, the characters interacting with one another, and it really was a cluttered movie where you have all of these scary characters and antagonists coming out and these monsters just over the top and just running around like crazy, and it really didn't make me enjoy watching the third act because how that all ended, it just felt like something I had already seen before, and it just made the movie lazy and predictable. So overall, I would say that I was just not impressed with this movie. I thought going in, I was expecting to see a lot more, but then after I thought back to when I saw the trailer to this movie, I'm actually not surprised with half of the things that I saw in this movie. So I wouldn't exactly recommend it, even if you saw the first Goosebumps movie. Just go back to watching the old Goosebumps TV shows and then just forget these even exist. So I would not even want to see a third movie. So I would give this 1.5 hearts on the heart rate scale. So let me know in the comments what you guys thought of Goosebumps 2 Haunted Halloween, and come back tomorrow for day 3 of my horror movie review marathon. And as always, you guys can subscribe to my channel. I've got more movie reviews, movie updates. Come back every week for a Trail Thursday video. You guys can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter, and I will see you guys later.